Alright, so in my last video, I showed how I went about modeling this snake scale ring in Blender, and I'll leave a link down in the description to where you can find that video, but today I'm going to be going over how I plan to print and cast this ring in bronze. And before I export this model for 3D printing, one of the things that I sometimes like to do is add the sprues digitally to print with the model. And this is just to kind of get a better idea of how the model is going to be cast and also help with cleanup later on. And to help me out with planning where I want the sprues to be, I've actually made a few assets in my JewelCraft add-on here in Blender. And if you're interested in jewelry modeling in Blender, you're probably familiar with this add-on. If not, I'll leave a link down in the description to where you can find it. But here in my assets folder, I've actually created a subfolder called Casting Tools, where I've made a few different flask sizes that I frequently use, and also a few different sprue sizes that are really easy to kind of drop in and resize to fit any model. So I'm just going to add in this 3.5 by 5 inch solid wall flask. And for each one of my flasks, you can see I've cut them into 2 pieces. And this is just so that I can go in and select one side and hide it, just to be able to get a better view of the inside when I'm going to arrange some of these models. So now I can just come in and position my ring in place. And one of the challenges with this ring is there's obviously detail going all the way around the band, so I'm not going to be able to attach a sprue to the outside without destroying any of that detail. So my plan is to attach it to the inside of the ring on the flat sections where it can be easily sawed off and filed clean later. And the sprue asset that I'm just dropping in is just a curve path with the geometry depth turned up. And it's left as a curve for now just for ease of modeling, but it will be eventually converted over into a mesh and then added to the ring using a Boolean modifier to make it all one piece. So now with the curve path selected, I can just hop over into edit mode and use the tweak select to just grab these vertices and position them in place. So I know it can be a little confusing because we're technically looking at the flask upside down from how it's going to be placed on the vacuum table for casting. But with these sprues, I'm trying to keep in mind how the molten metal is going to flow through that main channel and go into the ring cavity. And my aim is to make as smooth of a transition as possible for that bronze to flow. Because at least from what I understand, any sharp corners that are in that path for the metal to flow is just going to create kind of turbulent spots where the metal can kind of churn up, and it could break away pieces of investment and end up causing voids in your casting or even make it solidify prematurely. So it's best to make it as smooth as you can and really try to think about how that metal is filling up the cavity. So once I have everything in place, I'm just using the shortcut keys for the Boolean operations, which is Control Shift plus and minus on the numpad, just to add those sprues together and cut away the section of the larger sprue channel. And now that the model is one solid piece, it's ready to be exported as an STL file for 3D printing. But before I do that, I just want to mention I know that this whole process seems really overkill and that it's definitely not necessary. You can totally just add wax sprues by hand. But personally, I found that I really like having as many ways of getting repeatable results as possible, especially with new designs like this where I'm not entirely sure how it's going to turn out. And it can also be nice just to see how a flask is going to turn out if you're doing multiple castings at once, or different prototypes that are going to be all on the same tree. But even with that, it's probably not needed for every project. So I'm bringing this model into the Lychee slicing software, and I decided to print it on its side just because I don't want any of the supports to interfere with that pattern. And I'm printing 3 test pieces to cast, all using the same Tech castable resin as I've used in previous videos. So you can check out my bare head ring casting video if you want a more in-depth look at this resin. So all the prints turned out pretty nice. Now I'm just going to go through and clean them up and get them ready for casting. And I use the same trick as before of softening up the print using a cup of warm water and then using an X-Acto knife to go through and cut away the supports. Then, after curing the rings in UV light, I can go through and clean up some of the rough spots left over from the supports. Now, with this one, I ended up cutting off the sprues just because I wanted to have one to test fit to see what it was going to feel like, and I also wanted to do a test casting to see if I can get away with using just one wax sprue. So with this one, I just bent a piece of wax rod and melted it to the inside flat section of the ring, the same way as it was with the 3D models. Then for attaching them to the wax tree, I just heated up a small cup of injection wax so that I could dip in the ends of the sprues and just place them onto the main sprue. And I'm leaving some extra room to attach a few more things to this tree, but after that they should be ready to invest and start the burnout cycle. And I'm using some SC20 fine jewelry casting investment, which seems to work pretty well with this resin. And I'm using the same 8-hour burnout cycle as I've used in previous videos, with the final casting temperature of 1000 degrees Fahrenheit, which might be kind of overkill for these size rings, but it's really cold in the garage right now, so I figured I might need that extra heat. And here are the rings right after casting and a little bit of cleanup. You can see there's still quite a bit of dark oxides on them, which makes me think that the flask temperature was probably just a little too high. And that test ring that we did with the single sprue didn't end up filling completely, which probably wouldn't have happened if I added some air channels on the side of the flask to help pull that metal more towards the side. But either way, the other two are looking pretty good, so I'm going to cut them off using a jeweler's saw and finish them up. And after a little bit of cleaning and polishing, here is the finished ring. I'm super happy with how it turned out, and it's a really thick and beefy ring, but I actually really like that about this one. The rounded edges make it really comfortable to wear, and I really love how much that detail pops in the scales. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching.